People don't understand that networking is the most selfish thing on the freaking planet. I'm going to help you because it helps me, right? If you win, I win, right? But I'm only going to do it for so long. Let's say I introduce you to a bunch of cool people, and I'm constantly bringing your name up in rooms and telling people about your podcast and the things you do. Well, if 6 months, a year go by, and you never bring my name up in a conversation, you never give me any advice that helps my business, piss off. I'll go find somebody else, right?
Welcome to Growing Your Business with Buddy Broyles, helping businesses share their voice, build authority, and grow through meaningful conversations. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast with yours truly, Buddy Broyles, is my new friend, old friend, hopefully at some point, Donnie Boivin. He's the CEO and founder of Success Champions Networking. Donnie, what a pleasure to have you here today.
Oh, brother, that's such a cool place. I'm stoked that I was able to drive out here. I was looking forward to this. I love doing these in-person, conversations like this. So
yeah, same here. I'm so glad you're here. I want to know, what do you do? I mean, specifically, you do a lot of things, Donnie. So let's keep it with Success Champions Networking. Yep. What is it, and how does Success Champions Networking stand out?
So my whole background and career comes from sales.
Yeah.
I think I'm over 25 years at this point, and I've always sold into mid-market, multi-million-dollar companies and larger. And so for me, networking always sucked. And the reason it sucked is literally I'd walk into rooms and it'd be all the wrong people in the rooms. It'd be real estate, MLM, or somebody who wants to check my chakras, and things along those lines. And so I set out on a mission to literally change how the world networks. SEN is the first product that's come out to actually do that. So what we do is we run virtual networking groups for people who sell into mid-market, multi-million-dollar companies. Yeah. So what you're finding is curated rooms of people that are just selling 5, 6, 7, 8-figure deals versus going to, and I'm not bashing on these organizations like the Chamber, where you get all the people who are selling to consumers and small companies, trades. They're all great businesses. They're all great people. But, when you're selling in this mid-market space, you've got to be around other people, because our ideal clients, or our members' ideal clients, you're never going to see them in a networking group. You're not going to see a CEO of a $40 million manufacturing company, in any sort of networking function. So we curated a room to bring the people together that all would be selling to that same CEO, so we can get a lot more ROI, a lot more business done.
And you've been doing this for 8 years,
roughly?
Yeah,
close. So I launched SEN in March of 20.
Yeah. So good success, lots of success stories, lots of people you've met and brought along with you. Tell me about, you developed codes, like and I'm talking the Champions Code. Yep. Let's break that down. We've got 6 main parts here that we repeat every week. And full disclosure, everybody, I'm a 6-month or so member, and I'm loving it. And that's why we're here together. I wanted a chance to talk to you. Let's walk through the code. So
I hate core values. I think they're dumb. They're usually just words thrown up in a wall that nobody pays attention to. Yeah. So, but I'm a fantasy nerd. I got Harry Potter tattoos on my arm, right? So I've always loved kind of the Knights code, and what the Knights, they live by, and they honored the codes. And so when I was building the company, I'm like, we need codes like the Knights had, something that people can wrap their head around. Yeah. So we came up with 6 codes. I wrote them all out, and like, if I live my life this way, then I'm going to live a good life. So the first code is be yourself. Yeah. Like, a lot of us did the corporate gig where we spent a lot of years working for other people. We did the dog and pony show, walked and talked and did all things. In my world, I want you to show up as you. One of the greatest compliments I get is people will look at me and say, Donnie, thanks for being you, because it gives me permission to be me. And I freaking love that.
Yeah, very cool.
The next one is most people's favorite, which is family first.
Yes.
Right? I want you at the first hello, the last goodbye, the soccer games, all the things, right? Because if you had a successful career, like, there was a lot of crap you missed along the way. So I want to make sure people are there, right? I want the next one. And guys, if you've never seen me speak before, I just talk like I talk. The next one, go break shit trying new things, right? Yep. Because, in business in particular, if you're not trying something new, if you're not exploring new areas, if things aren't falling apart because you're not out there doing things, you're not building a business. You're running a hobby project.
Yeah, lessons are learned through making mistakes.
100%. Yep. And then after that, the next one is teach what you learn. So when you're breaking things, you're going to learn and figure things out. And I think it's our duty to turn around and teach the next person coming up all the things that you figure out along the way. Yeah. Right? The next one, be your own champion. no one's going to do this shit for you. Like,
Right.
you need to step up for yourself and literally champion yourself.
Yeah.
I got a whole story about how I came up with the name of the company that goes right along those lines. But you have got to champion yourself. And then the last one, really, really, really fun, is a lot of people laugh because this is a separator, is simply don't be a dick.
Yeah. Just why walk around with a chip on your shoulder
Absolutely.
and be ugly? Yeah.
And I found that one in particular is kind of the qualifier for Success Champions Networking, because if you get offended by that phrase, I don't want you in my world, right? It just lays the groundwork for everything.
So you mentioned Success Champions Networking. You came up with that, 3 words. Let's break down what that meant to you while you knew what you wanted to do.
Yep.
You had a plan, you had it in your head, you were just wordsmithing, finding the right words that meant the right thing. Let's break that down.
So, funny enough, when I was coming up with the company name, I knew success was going to be in it, but I didn't know the other words. Mm-hmm. I happened to be watching the movie Troy with Brad Pitt. Yep. Okay, and Brad plays Achilles in there, and I'm gonna keep the story tight. At the beginning of that movie, you literally have 2 armies facing off, right? And the king goes, "You choose your best, I'll choose my best," and they'll duke it out. Long story, Brad comes out, one move, kills this giant of a man. And as I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, dude, people actually used to do that. They would literally pick their champion and they would literally stack their entire country up against somebody else's champion. And as I was sitting there watching, I'm like, damn, when will people stand up and choose themselves and be their own champion out there? So I knew success was going to be the word, and then champion came along for the ride. So the corporation is Success Champions. When I launched the networking group, that's when the networking came along to bring out Success Champions Networking. I always wanted a name that told the story. Yeah. Right? So at the end of the day, it's more about being your own champion.
So as a member, I know this as what we do. And how we do what we do. But I know you have the weekly virtual meetings, business seat exclusivity.
Correct.
And you have multiple groups, so you can join different groups. And let's talk about why you built it that way.
Yeah. So virtual, because most of our members are too damn busy to drive into town and you go to an in-person event, you're going to lose 4 hours. Like, I'm going to an in-person event this afternoon, and it took me an hour and a half to get out here. It's going to take me a half hour to get over there, and by the time I get home, I'm 5 hours out of the house.
Right.
So that's just too much time out of it. So that's why we did virtual. There was a Harvard study that came out that because of TikTok, Reels, and Shorts, that said top of mind used to be 30 days. Just stay top of mind for somebody. It's now 7 days. So we do weekly meetings, so we make sure we stay top of mind, right? We do 1 seat per industry, because the way I look at a chapter is, let's say the chapter is all selling into manufacturing companies, right? Inside that manufacturing company, you got different departments. You got ops, you got accounting, you got sales, you got marketing. I want somebody in that chapter that sells to every division in that company. Because imagine going in and you sell whatever you sell, and while you're there, you're sitting there going, hey, I just sold you the service. I'm curious, is there any other things you as a company are working on? And whatever they say that they have an initiative come up or whatever, you can go, hey, you know what? I got a guy that's a trusted partner of mine that I'd love to bring in and introduce you to. Like, it just solves a very, very cool problem. And when you get everybody focused in the same direction, man, a lot of business happens.
Absolutely.
So,
well, not only that, is you have the confidence now that you're basically at the vanguard of a wave of people. Think about a bunch of geese flying. You see that, and you have all these resources that are right behind you if you need them now that you have this network.
Yeah, and so what I want people to think about is, with most networking, it's very surface level, very transactional. Inside our world, we're used to deals taking 6 months, a year, 18 months sometimes to land. So we understand the power of getting really deep with relationships. And so what you're finding is people are actually proactively like going after clients together. They're going and networking specifically together to work conferences and rooms, because they understand the value of not only going deep in a relationship, but actually helping the other person win. See, people don't understand that networking is the most selfish thing on the freaking planet. And here's why it's selfish. And I love telling people this. I'm going to help you because it helps me, right? If you win, I win, right? But I'm only going to do it for so long. Like, so let's say I introduce you to a bunch of cool people, right? And I'm constantly bringing your name up in rooms and telling people about your podcast and the things you do. Well, if 6 months, a year go by and you never bring my name up in a conversation, you never give me any advice that helps my business, never open a door, or tell me about an event I go to, piss off. I'll go find somebody else, right? So it's really got to be a mutual win, right? That people really can make this successful. And so that's why networking has to be selfish. Like, you have to want to see other people win, because that's what's going to get you to win.
Well, and also you structured each of the groups
Yep.
to where you have a leadership team,
Yep.
as in you've empowered each group to, and I'm with the Power Hour with Trey. Trey brought me in, and we all have different things that we're doing within the group that keeps us accountable to each other.
Yep.
And it's in a support system. Tell me about how and why you structured it that way.
So I knew I ran a lot of networking groups over my career. Yeah. At one point, I ran 11 networking groups for the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce. Wow. And networking is it's been the biggest tool to grow whatever business I was in at the time, working for others. And so I knew in those groups that if you do all the heavy lifting yourself, it's a lot of heavy lifting. And there's a lot of things that I wanted to have happen in the chapter. Like, I have a sales training background, so I wanted education to be in there. So we put the education chair in there. I wanted somebody to nurture members as they came in the door, so we have a member chair, right? I wanted the vice president there, that their job is, to help with any problems or issues that may arise, but also support the president if they can't make a meeting, right? And then, we have the chapter mentor role in there, because anytime you get involved with a new organization, no matter what it is, that when you first come in, it's overwhelming. There's so much stuff happening. So I wanted someone to basically hold people's hand and walk them through all the things so they know how the world wins. Because when you come in and you network the way we network inside of SEN, we're going to ruin all other networking for you. It's so funny to listen to the members go, I just hate going to other places where they don't understand the SEN philosophy and how we do things. So, having that strong leadership team, it's just paramount to watching the chapters really succeed because of how tight of a unit they get at the top, and that trickles down to all the members.
Well, and you've also created, and this is my observation, you've created the tools, I think almost like a business in a box. A chapter in a box. You have training for each of the chairs. I'm the member chair. I'm the member chair, and there's a whole list of, and my other business is online or video based training. So I respect that each of the little modules, they're short. They tell you how much time they're going to take. There's video there. There's different types of media that you can consume, but you built it that way on purpose. Tell me about that.
So I want people to not have to think about running a chapter, the networking, how to do it. I want them to be able to just naturally react and do things, because for me, if people don't get an ROI from the activity, they won't stay. Right. So I know I'm a guy that I don't like to be sit and taught. Like, I want to self-pace everything.
Yes.
So I do have training, but all the videos and stuff comes from my own personality. Like, if I can go consume a 2-minute video, I'd rather do that than 45 minutes listen to somebody flap their gums, and so I've been in a lot of situations where you jump in and you're offered to help you or whatever else, and they're pretty much just throw you to the wind. They're like, okay, go figure it out.
Or here's a stack of things to read.
Yeah.
He's like, oh God, help me.
100%. I can do that, but it's much easier when you have something to fall back on and something to look at, to make sure that you're helping the members win. So that's where a lot of it came from.
Well, and it helps us all be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what I found recently is, because each chapter has these leadership roles, you can reach out and cross-pollinate with other leadership roles and learn from them, which is a really neat thing you have going there. Let's talk about, you're a networker. And you basically go on these adventures. And I've been paying attention. And as of this date, you've got San Francisco planned. But tell me, what's the motivation? How do you do it? And I'll have you list what it is.
Yeah, for sure. So I think a lot of people talk a big game. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are, I don't know if you want to call them influencers or whatever, but they're like, just do this and you'll find success. And literally, I was taking a shower, and as I'm in the shower, I'm like, God, you're kind of coming like one of those guys that just keeps telling people what to do. Why don't you go prove it? So I literally came out of the shower, went, shit, I'm going to go do this. And it was like 3 weeks later, I was off doing it.
Yeah.
I got a coach named Jerry McNamara, amazing dude. When he comes in town, I'm gonna introduce you. But he tells me all the time, Donnie, we got to slow down just for 2 seconds, because as soon as I get an idea, I'm going. And so I literally came up with the idea to go down to Houston, spend 5 days, not leverage my network, not ask for any favors, not ask for any inductions, and prove that you could build a network from scratch.
Yeah.
And so, dude, it was one of the most difficult things that I've actually ever done. I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. I really did. But I can tell you, until Wednesday night, I thought I was going to fail this whole thing horribly.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out all right. So now I'm just trying to document so people can really see what it takes to actually be good at networking and take people along for the ride.
Well, what I found was interesting. One, the proof is in the pudding and doing it.
Yes.
But I also like that you basically published a report to all of us and said, here's what really happened.
Yep.
Which is, for ego aside, it's like it tests you to say, can I report honestly that some of this, here's the parts that didn't go well. I saw some of that, like there were zeros in places you're like,
Yep.
I should have had a number here.
Yep.
And tell me about the reporting of that, and what are your metrics for the next one for San Francisco?
Yeah.
What's changed between those two?
It was hard. So I knew I wanted a way for people to follow along. And listen, I had no clue what I was doing.
Of course.
Right?
You make up as you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I had some assumptions and things I wanted to do. I knew I needed a volume of events. So I was down there. So I hit 17 events in 5 days. I ended up talking to 79 people. I had 24 commit to come to a Zoom call. 12 people actually registered, 9 showed up, and 4 people are now going to start our Houston chapter.
That sounds great.
Right? It was absolutely exhausting.
Also exhausting.
And I'll tell you, networking is so broken as a function, because the people who typically teach networking, they're so transactional as nature. So if you think about who's taught networking over the years, it's your real estate, it's your financial advisors, your MLMs, right? Those are all transactional sales.
Yeah.
And so the way they teach things is because you can sell everybody you're talking to in the room. In our world, the people we're selling to, they're never in the rooms we're in.
Yeah.
So I had to teach people how to change that dynamic, which would help me be so successful over the years, selling the millions of dollars I have over my career. So for now, I want to bring people along for the ride. So I put a post out on LinkedIn and said, okay, guys, I want to do this in another city. But I want to leverage my network. I want to show people what it looks like when you say, hey, I'm going to be in this area. Who should I meet? Where should I go? Right? I want to host our own event once I get there, and then do some of the stuff and bring people to that event to talk about SEN, and then ultimately launch a chapter out of there. So as I put the post out there, I'm like, where should I go? And there was a couple of good comments on there. And I always love when people push me in the comments. I think it's phenomenal. And this guy goes, you went down to Houston. That's pretty southern place. You're a southern dude. Like that's
home court.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you go up somewhere in the northeast or northwest and see how this works? And I said, bet. And so I'm going to San Francisco next. I'm going to do that in July, and I want to see what a country dude does in this kind of yuppie style world, and see how it comes. But I'm already talking to people. I'm probably going to go on the backside of July. We do already have a chapter getting started out there, so I'm going to be able to leverage those guys. There's a lot of cool events, but I'm going to try and do it in 2 days. So my goal is to fly in 2 days, have a lot of things already set in place, a lot of conversations, go to a couple events, document and film, and then ultimately host an in-person event to where I can quickly talk about, SEM, what we're doing, get people registered, throw a happy hour and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So
I wish you luck. We'll be following along.
So
we'll know.
I've decided now that, so we've got 5 chapters that are going through training right now, 6 chapters that are going through training right now to launch. And so what I'm going to do with each one of these chapters is I'm going to fly into where their chapters, going to be launched out of, and I'm going to go networking with them. And I'm going to document that journey, show what it's like to actually, network with a wingman and how much more stronger and powerful that is. But I'm going to help them build their chapters out by taking them around town and going and network. So I'm actually going to go back down to Houston because we are launching a chapter. We've got a leadership team already set in place. And so we're going to pick a couple events that were good events down there and go collectively together to those events, right? To find the rest of the badasses in those chapters and really, build out Houston.
Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. One of the values I see, Donnie, is a difference, big difference, and you mentioned it earlier in the show. Big difference in this network is you have leadership. You have CEOs,
yes.
You have owners, entrepreneurs in this group, and so much of the knowledge sharing, and one of the important in the Champions Code is learning, sharing knowledge.
Yep.
That's so different from a lot of the other networking groups because one we're elevating each other through education,
yep.
sharing shared experiences, and especially in this time in business, especially with AI
yes.
and all the tools, businesses are changing so rapidly now. 100%. And since it's a national network of all of these different people, we can pull knowledge from all of these different industries nationally.
Yep.
Because I'll say some of the coasts sometimes get information or implement sooner because they're working with internationals probably.
Yep.
So that's one of the values I see. And speaking of meeting all of those people, we have the Badass Business Summit coming up, and that's annual. This is how many years?
Year 7 for us.
Year 7. Well, I mean, it makes sense every year. And tell me about why we do this and what we can expect of the event.
So I built the Badass Business Summit because I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be talking in front of rooms. I wanted to teach, and nobody was giving me the stage.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
And so like, fuck it. If you're not going to give me the stage, I'll take it myself.
Yeah,
right?
great.
And so built it out. But it really didn't happen until I was doing a live on Facebook, and I had a couple hundred people watching the live. And as I was talking, a gal goes, "Hey, I got this event down in San Antonio. I'd love you to come be the keynote for."
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, I'll do that. And then people on the live were like, "Oh, if you're going to be in San Antonio, we'll just come down and see you speak." And then people were like, "Oh, if you're going to go down to San Antonio, why don't you just rent a hotel space and we'll come and you can come teach us?" I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. If we're going to do anything, let's do it up here. We'll do it in Fort Worth, and we'll kick it off. And the words out of their mouth, they're like, "Oh, and we'll call it DonnieCon." I'm like, no, we are not calling it DonnieCon.
Yeah.
So, and then they actually came up with the idea of calling it the Badass Business Summit, which has been amazing and fun and awesome, but also has its difficulties, not because of it offends people or whatnot, but I can't do any advertising. So you can't run Google ads, Facebook ads, or anything like that. So everything has grown through word of mouth.
Yeah.
So which has been awesome because we get some great crowds out there. But for me, conferences suck as well. You go to conferences, you fill out a whole bunch of notes, you go home and you go, "What the hell does that triangle mean?" And you forget. So I wanted a conference to do a couple things. One, I wanted to focus on business development. Most of our members came out of corporate America. They held executive roles, now run their companies. They haven't sold in 20 years. Right? Or a lot of them have never sold in life, period. Right? So I wanted to focus on the business development side of things. I wanted amazing networking, right? And then I wanted a working summit. So everything we do in our summit is we're going to teach and you're going to implement right then and there. So we curate some amazing networking. People fly in from all over the world, and it's 3 days. And if you ask anybody who's gone, they'll tell you two things. One, some of the best networking they've ever had. Two, you were going to be absolutely wiped by the time you leave. Because we really, really, really get after it. It's a lot of fun. It's not a big showboaty show or anything like this. This is full, let's get really working, networking, and build your business.
Tell me, what is your favorite thing about what you do now, Donnie?
Watching people win, hands down. The number of people that reach out and are like, because of SCN, my company's now doing this. You changed my life completely. People were talking about, they've been running their business for a couple years and they couldn't figure out how to find clients because networking sucked. They didn't want a cold call, and now they're running in some cases 7-figure businesses. That stuff brings me more joy than anything else. I love, and I get off on people walking up to me and saying SEN changed my life. That is the most beautiful thing in the world, because I just want people to win. And for me, the more the members of SEN win, I win too. It's goes back to the whole idea. Networking selfish. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it right. Excellent. Well, Donnie, thanks for coming on the show, for making the drive to the studio. Well, I know we've been trying to connect for a little while here, and I appreciate you making that effort, doing what you do, and helping others, and just sharing today.
Absolutely. Guys, if you've made it this far with the show, do me a favor. Take a screenshot wherever you're watching this. Go to your social media account, post it on there, tag me and Buddy. I promise you, I will come and comment on it if I see it. But look, man, building out shows like this is a lot of damn work. It takes so much time and energy. By you taking that screenshot and putting it out there, it shows them, Buddy, that this is the type of content you're looking for. It helps him reach more people, and it's literally like giving him a virtual hug. So share this out there, guys. Dude, seriously, thank you for having me on. Just a lot of fun, man.
Awesome.